Before I get into today's video, remember to follow me on Twitter. So my Twitter, the link is in the description below. You can also find me. My handle is @JacksonKruger. Come over, say hi. And anyways, back to your regularly scheduled video. We got to see some Pat Freiermuth, which was just fantastic to watch because the reality is he's someone who in most drafts would have been the tight end 1. It just so happens that he fell all the way to the second round, and obviously he wasn't going to be the tight end 1 because you have Kyle Pitts, who, as good of a tight end prospect as we've seen in quite some time. So I understand why, he's number 2 on most boards. He was number 2 on my board, but he looked really good. And I do think that when he got drafted by the Steelers, a lot of people were saying, well, why are you drafting a tight end when you're trying to win now? Typically tight ends don't hit the ground running. They take a year, and I do still suspect, don't expect Freiermuth to do too much this year. It would be an anomaly if he does, but hey, it's pretty promising when he already has a pretty good performance. And so I want to talk about two main things. The touchdowns, of course, and I want to talk about his blocking. I thought that those are the two interesting takeaways from his preseason tape. Because again, it is a small sample size that we're dealing with, but it was good. So let's jump into the film study and talk about him. All right, so we'll start things off with a play like this. So I want to talk about his blocking for a second. One of the things about his blocking is he's such a big guy. I think a lot of people sort of just see him and say, okay, well, he'll be a great blocker, fantastic. I didn't see him as a tremendous blocker in college. I saw him more as a receiving threat, and I assumed that just with his build, he could become a good blocker, which I think logically makes sense. When you're big, it's easier to block than when you're not as big. And I have to say, I thought his blocking was good. I thought his blocking was very good in this game, and this play will be a good example of that. So the way this play is going to work is he is going up one-on-one blocking a linebacker 53 right here for Detroit, and watch what he's going to do. Look at how he uses kind of his length right there. He is a tall guy. He does have big arms, and he's just going to outstretch that left arm and use that. At this point, he's basically a tackle on this play because you have the edge to worry about, and he's using that outstretched arm to just make it more difficult on the Detroit linebacker. Now, what 53 is going to do to counteract this from Freiermuth is he's going to just try and swipe that arm away. Makes sense, right? But what's good about Freiermuth is going to be his quick hands and how he gets it back up. I mean, look at how quickly he gets it back up a couple of times, and even after a spin move, he was staying right with him the whole way. So that's really good stuff there by Freiermuth, I would say, in the blocking game, which is promising because, again, he is someone who maybe wasn't the most technically best blocker. That was a bad sentence. Not the most technically best sentence either. But he, clearly had to build for it, and we're seeing him grow and get better. Although there was one play I do have to mention. It was this play. It's going to be a run to the left. Both the right guard and Freiermuth are going to be pulling over. Freiermuth, of course, the guy who's lined up as the tight end. And watch what's going to happen on this play. It's not the best. As you see, they're both going to end up running into each other. It leads to a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. There was a defensive back there. I think it's probably on Freiermuth. I would say Freiermuth probably is the guy who was supposed to block 41 right there, who I believe is a defensive back. So that was I would say that was probably a mistake. Not a big one. I mean, he is a rookie. You expect these kind of things to happen. And maybe it wasn't even his fault. We don't know. I'm not in the I'm not there in the huddle, so it's possible he did the right thing. But I would suspect, given what I know about plays like this, it was probably on Freiermuth. So, again, not a big deal. This is what preseason is for making mistakes like that. All right, let's get into his receiving. I know that's what we're all here for. He had 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's awesome. 2 touchdowns in a preseason game. Yes, it's just a preseason, but still, very fun stuff. So it's zone coverage, and you see the route that Freiermuth is going to be running here. It's a route that can get open against this type of coverage, but watch how well he's going to run it here. Look at how right when this play starts, he first avoids contact from the player over the middle, which is nice, and now he's kind of stopped. There's the Detroit safety who is basically standing right in front of him, and what Freiermuth is doing here, and the reason why he's looking like this, is obviously we know he's about to cut over the middle of the field, but Detroit doesn't know that. They don't know what Freiermuth is doing, and what Freiermuth wants to do is just make it as though he could be doing anything. It's essentially the football equivalent of a poker face. No one knows if you have a good hand or a bad hand. No one knows if you're going to turn left or you're going to turn right because you're not giving anything away and you're doing the same thing on every play. So how could you possibly know until he starts to cut? He then does run over the middle, gets wide open, and is able to make the grab. Good play from the rookie right there for sure. And again, for a rookie tight end, typically as a rookie, you struggle. Typically, rookie tight ends do not come into the league and just do fantastic in the receiving game or in the blocking game. It just usually takes a minute. It's one of those positions that rookie tight ends almost never do well. There's only been 1,000-yard receiving rookie tight end ever, which, again, that's hard to do in general. But it was also Mike Ditka, which is weird. But again, there's only been, I don't know how many 1,000-yard receiving tight end seasons in general. I'm just saying it's very difficult to do it as a rookie. It's very difficult to have a good rookie season as a tight end, but he's showing promise in the preseason. This one was the other touchdown, so it's going to be a cover 2 zone. You see Freiermuth, he's running over the middle right here. So again, sort of a similar play, although there's no real cut this time. But watch what's going to happen. Right when this play starts, so you see that, okay, D-Trip player is going to start to follow him right here. And unrelated, or well, kind of related, but not what I'm showing on the screen right now, is that the safety who is over Freiermuth right here is going to actually cut in to cover somebody else. So this basically means it's going to turn into a one-on-one matchup, which is a good scenario for Freiermuth. I actually think it's even possible the safety cut in to cover Freiermuth because Big Ben kind of looked off to the side a little bit. I don't think I can give Freiermuth credit for that, though. I just don't. However, I do think I can give him credit for how he's going to finish off this route. He's not just going to run deep. Watch the move he's going to put on here. Look, it's a good move to get to the outside, and then he gets up and is able to make a kind of tough catch. It's one you expect him to make, but still, it's not one you make 10 out of 10 times, and he didn't make it there. So great route running and a good play. And I mean, you be the judge. If you want to say he was the one who faked out the safety, it could be. I just don't know if that's the case, so I can't give him full credit for that because I just don't know. But it was a really good play nonetheless and a great catch. And again, if he can do this in the regular season, be a red zone threat, red zone, that's the way a lot of games are won or lost. So that's exciting if you're a Steelers fan. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my thoughts on Freiermuth. Really good route running. And that's something you don't often see from young players. And typically for a tight end, the way that you can get open is through route running in the NFL. Teams are playing zone coverage, which they might do more if you have a running game with Najee Harris. I know the offensive line has been suspect, but hey, Freiermuth's blocking well, maybe that'll help the running game. And, then you get zone coverage. He can use his route running to be effective. It works in man coverage as well, of course, and his big body will work in man coverage as well. So he looks good just physically. He looks like a Steeler. I don't know how to describe that, but he kind of does. There's a lot to like about Freiermuth, and I think he had a very good Week 1 performance, or, first action performance for the Steelers. So, yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? And also, I don't know why I said first action, because he played a lot more in Week 1 than he did this week. But very good. I feel like this is kind of a breakout game a little bit, if you can have a breakout game in the preseason. Anyways, let me know in the comments below, what were your thoughts on his, just overall performance as a whole. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.